Okay, what you see here is pretty much what I've been working on as part of this documentary. This represents about 20 weeks worth of design and printing and building. And it's actually about 15 weeks, really, because the first 10 weeks I kind of was really spending over half my time on the internet, like on YouTube, making videos and stuff like that, so it really was distracting. And there's also this as well. I'll light that up so you can actually see it. It's my flex light. And there's also this, which is my light station, which, works with tack light. So tack light's magnetic. You can, like I said, stick it anywhere. But, this is a light station. The idea is to have a flashlight that, you can, like, station anywhere you want, because it doesn't have to be used with tack light there. It can be used, just on its own. But a flashlight in convenient situations, like, I'm thinking by my underwear drawer, I'd like to have one because there's no permanent light there, and I always have to turn on some kind of overhead light fixture just to see what it is. And I'm trying to dig through that drawer. But, this has a little, swivel top head, basically. So, as you can tell, you can aim it in whatever direction you want, almost like a roll-on. It looks like something off of I don't like the design that much, it looks like something off of, I don't know, Flash Gordon or something, or Dune, like that flying syringe that, went into that guy's head. If I just put some gold and, it's got a magnetic base too, by the way, so, I can stick it, I can stick it, to things so you can, turn the light on and aim it in whatever direction you want. But at any rate, it's, I thought it'd be a cool little idea to, sell these in like 3 or 4 packs so people can station them around their house. That's why I actually call it the, the light station, if you can read that. But, like I said, it also does have a mount so it can work with tack light underneath too, if you want to do that instead of using its regular, tack base, which is like here. This is the black model. I printed, total in the tack lights, I printed quite a few different versions of the tack light. In fact, here is an example of a new dome that I've printed, but almost all of these I actually glued the older domes on. I just did this like real recently as an afterthought. This is the Model 2 tack light, the one with the aimable cylinder, so you can point the light up or down on your wall. Like I said, this is the standard model. Again, one of the black units. Got the little detachable tack base and the magnetic deal, which you can actually stick to your transformer too if you want. This right here, of course, is my Mark 1 9-volt LED candle, the original version. So, I don't know if this right here is the new version, the updated version of that, which you can see, it's, got the new high trans acrylic lid, and all these damn cylinders I cut kind of crooked. That sucks. But, it's got way more settings and the lifespan label on the side of it. So, you can set it to several different modes. And I got little, kind of binoculars, which are really just keepers so it doesn't affect your night vision at night. But, here's the double stack version. of the LED candle. You know, it's got a oh, yeah, it's a two-way switch, so it's got, you know, I had it nighttime mode. I thought the battery was dead or something, but that's a real long longevity mode. In fact, you read the label on it, you can see that it lasts 54,000 hours on your battery life. So, I mean, it's like 6 years, you know, in this mode. You could actually keep this lit, because it uses 8 AA cells, but like I said, you know, but it also has the same switch complement as the other light, but, you know, unlike the other light, you know, this has a dome that you raise, I mean, not a dome, but a lid that you raise and spin if you want to get it in lantern effect, you know, lantern mode, or you can get in flashlight mode. You know, you can lower the dome, the LEDs protrude through it. So, anyway, it really is the ultimate flashlight. It has, or candle, it has, you know, battery life that far exceeds any of the other lights, including this. It's the swivel top candle, you know, from the other deal. I redid the labels too, which look a lot better. So, you know, but it's still basically the same swivel light you've seen in the other videos. This is my, I don't know if I ever showed you this, the external battery holder version of the candle. You know, I just did this for experimentation, just to see if I could build my own battery holder. But this thing's so big, you know, I just didn't know how small to make it, because I didn't know how difficult it was going to be to remove these things. So again, that's what's great about 3D prototype or rapid printing. You know, you can rapid prototyping. You can get, you know, try things like this and see if they work. This thing's so big, I could actually put C cells in this if I just made the battery holders bigger. You know, because that could be made a lot smaller. But I was, you know, because I originally would have liked to have used this concept in this candle, so that the batteries are external, just like I have in my 9-volt candle, so that they're easy change. You know, you can do it even in the dark, you know, without fiddling with screws or battery lids or anything like that. Is the whole idea, because these are emergency candles. You know, they're not designed for aesthetics or anything. They're designed to be practical in a, you know, in a power outage or something like that. Now that is the seg light, you know, the multi-segment flashlight, which is huge, but, you know, it you know, demonstrates a lot of concepts. Now I'm going to go into most of these products in very great detail. Right now you'll have to reference the actual promotional videos that I make, you know, because I'm going to make promotional videos on each and every one of these for the Telebrands project or whatnot. So, you know, if you want details on what these things can do, you know, you'll have to reference those videos. But here's my little, basically multi-beam flashlight. So it actually, you know, has kind of a, you know, UV mode to it, which you can sort of see operating there. So, and a red mode, so for nighttime use, like astronomy and stuff like that. It has a 15-degree beam on it, a 25-degree beam on it, a 55-degree beam on it, and a 110-degree beam on it. And of course you can turn them all on at the same time too, if you want to. It's got everything on, so including the UV. But it's pretty useful little flashlight. The design is kind of crude, you know. Again, I modified this from the original design, because I almost abandoned this project a couple of times just because of the print volume and amount of time, because my original design would have taken like 20-something hours to print and would have used up a lot of filament and everything. And I was like, yeah, hey, it's just an experiment just to see what these multiple beam angles look like, so I didn't want to waste too much plastic on it. Now right there is the flex lantern, but again, since I don't have the spring issue quite worked out yet, you know, it doesn't have any LEDs in it right now, and unless I can get the spring steel part of it figured out, you know, that's probably not going to happen. It's a nice looking unit though. It's ready for You know, that's definitely the biggest thing I printed volumetrically anyway. But you know, the idea behind this light is, you know, that's the second generation of this, which is the flex lantern light. You know, if these things open up, you know, that's one of the several modes they have in it, you know, but it's generally an aimable lantern, so, you know, if you want, particularly in some of these LEDs that it has on here, you know, these all got variable light settings and so forth, and anyway, you can tighten these screws and basically point them in the, you know, the same direction or in any direction you want to make a variable width floodlight. So, you know, it has a handle so you can carry it, you know, like this. You know, if you want to go and, you know, I got this turned way down, but if you want to go and, you know, use it, you know, like that. I mean, I mostly just built this for myself because I knew I wanted something that could have a lot of light and a lot of longevity if necessary. And this has 8 AA batteries in it, but also built this extra power pack, you know, which can plug into this via that cord you see there, you know, which has 8 D cells in it, so it extend the life out a hell of a lot longer than just the AA. So I mean, again, it's got, you know, what I consider the portable mode and this mode. And this was based on my original design was actually based on D cells only, but I was like, man, that's going to use up, it's going to take forever to print, and I didn't like the looks of it. Now the controls were going to be on the back, which would have been nice because that's a real hassle having those in there, but again, it was the best compromise, either to do that or don't print it. But since I wanted it for myself, you know, I didn't want to, you know, I just came up with a compromise design on it that used less plastic and took less time. So, and this is my clipboard flashlight, which is basically, you know, either for a smartphone or a tablet PC like you see here. So after it boots up, but until it boots up, I'll go on to other things. This is oh, there it is. But yeah, like I said, it's, you know, so you can use it, you know, and like I said, you know, flip the switches, so it's got these, you know, retractable arms on it, because I call it the clipboard flashlight because it's originally designed for clipboards, because these things actually bend up and can light up your clipboard while you're working on it in the dark. But they can also fold out and act like that, and it's also got a rotating head on top of it, which these things actually work pretty well for like photography or whatever. But anyway, the interesting thing about this is that it uses this kind of gecko material on the bottom of it to attach it to the tablet itself. So turn this thing off. I'm going to hold in on the button for a while, otherwise it won't turn off. But anyway, it uses this material to fasten it to the tablet, so it's not like an adhesive, so you can actually peel it off. You know, it's on there pretty good. You know, you can see basically how it's supported. You know, it basically has this material on it, which I'll show you a little more about that in a minute. But you know, but it basically adheres to smartphones or tablets or whatever quite well. So you know, and let me, you know, this is, like I said, that flex lantern I was telling you about, you know, the flex light. So, you know, which is basically a wraparound rope light of sorts, you know, but it's stiff. So you know, but here is my fridge light Mark II, you know, for dorm refrigerator. So it's just got a little switch on it, but I love this thing. I wanted that for 20 years, near enough. And then here's the Mark 1, if I hadn't showed you that before, which is for freezers. And, it uses an external power source and a magnet to, actuate it. I love this thing too. So, but yeah, those are, two different models of the same thing. And so, like I said, I've been wanting these for a very, very, very long time. But yeah, like I said, I'm not gonna. Hold on, I'll probably edit this out. But yeah, here's one of my tack lights with the, the new dome on it. But it's not actually glued down. But yeah, I printed out several of these tack lights, which you can see quite a few of them here, for various purposes. But yeah, and this is right here, this is my trunk light. So you can see how that works, and that actually goes into a trunk, and it actually mounts basically in a trunk, so that would, this would be the bottom of the trunk up here. So when you open the trunk, basically it comes on automatically. When you close the trunk, it goes off. So I had to come up with a pretty wild switch design, because I didn't want this thing going off every time you go over a bump, or every time you slam on the brakes, or in particular accelerated from a stoplight. So that's what made it a little tricky. That's why it's so damn bulky. I couldn't use like a conventional tilt switch or anything like that, because it's got to be something that can overcome the bumps. I could have put some kind of microprocessor in it, but if I did that, well, okay, that's going to consume power on an ongoing basis. In fact, this thing I pretty much thought was a bogus idea for a while, because I was like, I don't think the batteries will withstand the temperatures out in the trunk. But I did come up with some high temperature batteries that looks like they'll work, and they're at least not, you can buy them on Amazon. They're not totally astronomical in price, but they'll probably work. Okay, now this product here that I call the GEC is, well, I'll get to that in a second. This right here is a flash clip, and this actually goes on your refrigerator. It's actually got some of that gecko material that I told you about. In fact, this was pretty hard to get off my refrigerator. It does have a magnet inside it, but it works with this gecko material, so it doesn't slide. So this can actually support a heck of a lot of weight, with the N45 magnet I got in there, a neodymium magnet. But at any rate, what the flash clip does is that, you can use it. Let's set the camera down here. You can use it like a regular clip, and it holds stuff on your refrigerator. But if you want something to get somebody's attention, you set it in that mode. Okay, and it basically flashes. A lot of times I'll leave money in like my mom's refrigerator or something, and it'd be nice if this got her attention, because in those refrigerator mags, sometimes it'll be up there for a week or more before she notices. So, anyway, but, you take, something out and it stops flashing, so it's a real neat little novelty. But again, I don't think would do well on telebrands or infomercials on its own, but I think as an add-on product, to some other product they're trying to sell, it would probably work quite well. This right here is the antenna flashlight, and it certainly has a lot of features to it, including a lighted notepad, which this is actually designed for like sticky back notes or whatnot, so you can you know, put those on here, and it's got actually a pen holder on the side so you can write on them, take notes and stuff. Or, you know, let me turn this off. This notepad actually does come off. It's got some of that same gecko material in it, so you can put your smartphone on it or a tablet PC on it, you know, if you'd rather have that on the flashlight. This thing is way bigger than I'd like it to be, but it's, you know, again, given what I did with this, the antennas and everything, I mean, I had to work with what I could work with, you know, in terms of 3D printer limitations and what I had off the shelf and everything. But anyway, it's a pretty nifty little light. And you know, again, you know, you can reference the videos on this stuff to see what's particular about them. You know, this is my little shirt light, which is pretty cool. This is, in fact, call this the ultimate flashlight, and it pretty much is that. And again, watch the videos to see what it actually does. And here's its bigger brother, the jackknife, you know, which actually does some, you know, pretty cool stuff, you know, acting as a lantern and a bunch of other things. So that's got some real nifty features to it. But again, that's, you know, so that's pretty much the whole kit and caboodle right there. You know, pretty much all the development I have, you know, because I'm kind of the king of overkill with stuff like this. I like to hedge my bets. I don't like the idea of going into this, you know, with just one or two products. I mean, I want to have hopefully something that'll get people's attention so I can establish some kind of a long working relationship with these guys. But anyway, I should be able to generate, you know, at least 15, maybe 20 patents on this. Certainly from a PPA standpoint, it's quite a bit, and you know, hopefully I can interest somebody, and you know, and telebrands, or just selling the patents outright or something. Well, the provisional patents, which is what we're going to do. But you know, hopefully we can get something going with this stuff. Hopefully it's enough to work with. But again, you know, see all the, you know, I'm going to have to do videos of pretty much every one of these except for, you know, like your Mark 1 flashlight. I'm not going to do a video on that. Your Mark 1 LED candle there, I'm not going to do a video on it. But still, in general, I'm going to do, you know, videos specifically, you know, on some of these, a lot of these products. Now, and this is, by the way, the Gecko 1 flashlight, which is kind of a disaster. It was, you know, just an idea I came up with. I like the idea of a chain-based flashlight that uses that same gecko material to stick to stuff. Because in this patent, I'm actually trying to anticipate the forthcoming development of these gecko materials, and they'll be out within 5 years or so. You know, and people, of course, are going to want to do what? They're going to want to go out and put them on, you know, make flashlights that stick to anything. Well, I'm trying to take some of the principles that are going to be involved in that, and that's what the Gecko is. Too, it's a more mature representation of it than the Gecko 1. But basically, you know, this has some of that same material, and I just put this plastic thing on the bottom of it so that it doesn't stick to everything. But, you know, basically it's got a, you know, a flexible, you know, lip to it. So, you know, when this stuff sticks to something, you can actually peel it off, kind of like a gecko foot. And I think that's going to end up being a fundamental tenet, because this material works that way, and actual gecko materials are going to work that way too, in all likelihood. Certainly ones I've seen. So anyway, the fact of the matter is, you know, that's pretty much the, you know, the extent of what I've spent the last, you know, at least 4 months on. So, you know, really going on 5 months on. So hopefully some of this stuff will get us some hits. And again, if you've been through the kind of crap I've been through over the last 20 years, you'd want to hedge your bets too. You know, but again, that's why I have over 5,000 product ideas and inventions. In fact, most of this stuff is new. I mean, most of these ideas are brand spanking new that I started just from the original 2 projects, you know, this and this. So, you know, most of these concepts have evolved out of those two, especially since I did the design video on this, I did the design video on that. But yeah, that works too, and it's got the little power thing on it, which works great as well, and you can see that in the demonstration video, the little connector for the, that we talked about. I made some alterations in the schematic, but, they're not that important. I mean, you still learn, the principles of basic design from that video. I started to make a construction video, and this damn camera ran out of batteries. So as a result, you got a partial construction video of it, which I'll probably put out there. But after that, I was like, man, I got to get this done, because I mean, this is a lot of work. I mean, the assembly alone just took weeks and weeks on all this stuff, because it's not convenient to assemble, because this stuff's all prototypical, and I thought printing it and designing it was bad, but the assembly is bad too, because it just takes a lot of time. Particularly that damn thing, that was a mother to assemble. So, anyway, the point is, though, is that, hopefully I can have some success, to, show you guys in this video from something here. Geez, I hope so. And we'll just see what happens. But again, refer to the individual demonstration videos of each and every one of these products if you want to really see what these things do. For things that I really didn't demonstrate here. Of course, I'm not going to do a video on that. Well, it'll be in one of my videos, but as a demonstration concept. But it's not really a product in and of itself. This I'm still debating, because I don't really think this is patentable, but who knows? I mean, we might take a stab at it, but it's pretty cool. But I do know they have multi-spectral flashlights out there, but I don't know if they have any multi-beam flashlights out there. I know they do with optics, but I just don't know if they do it with discrete LEDs or not, like I did. It's usually something you kind of don't want to do, but then again, these LEDs are so cheap, it makes more sense to, probably cheaper to use just more LEDs of different beam angles than optics these days. So, because optics aren't really cheap. So, anyway, catch you later.